What I'm trying to say here is setting an ordinary boy as a main character makes story making pretty difficult. That difficulty influenced the story until the end, where two of them put their hands together and said balse, which is a word of doom. I just said a word of doom, but what they actually do there is a double suicide. They tried to solve the situation by dying together, which was what Miyazaki did in Nausicaa, or what Farewell to Space Battleship Yamato did for the climax. Both were a kind of suicide attack. So that's what I want to analyze in today's lecture. I want to answer a question, then why did they end up with the same kind of climax? But that doesn't mean Laputa is the same as Nausicaa or Farewell to Space Battleship Yamato, in which the story ends with main characters sacrificing their lives. As I said, I've broken down the seminar about Laputa into 6 sections, and I want to talk about this in the last section, which I titled Growth of the Anime Characters and Hayao Miyazaki. Anyway, Laputa is a strange movie. Oh, by the way, I just said there would be 6 parts, but I didn't even get to the first. I'm about to. Laputa is a strange movie. It only made around $4,600,000 in the box office. It was not a crushing defeat, but also not a good number. But then, they sold many movie merchandise. Totoro sold most goods among all Ghibli movies, but Laputa comes next. Laputa and Nausicaa come after Totoro, and then Kiki and Porco Rosso follow. Instead of being a blockbuster, Laputa became a movie which people still love. Many say Laputa is my most favorite Ghibli movie. I think I also like Laputa the most, and I've come up with 6 of its appealing points. So, here is the list of those 6 points. First, strange eroticism. Then, contradicting cultural criticism. Third, unexplained characters. Fourth, the mysterious Industrial Revolution. Fifth, a coming-of-age tale of a man. And last, the real Hayao Miyazaki. I want to discuss Laputa as I go through these points. In today's broadcast, I will talk about the first 3 points from strange eroticism to unexplained characters. And from the 4th to the 6th points, I'll talk about how the Industrial Revolution portrayed in Laputa is a bit strange. And Laputa is considered to be a coming-of-age tale of a boy, but the main character isn't really Pazu. But those are going to be for next week. Then, let's start talking about the first point, strange eroticism. So, you guys might think, was there any erotic scene in Laputa? Actually, there is. Do you remember this scene? This is a scene where Pazu and Sheeta somehow managed to land on Laputa with a kite that got separated from Dola's aircraft called Tiger Moth. After they land, they go, yay! Then they hug and roll on the grass. It's Pazu and Sheeta in that scene. Now, there's a long interview about this scene in this stylish magazine called Cut. The interview is super long. There, the interviewer told Miyazaki, there is a scene in Laputa which I don't really get. And he referred to this scene. It's this. So, right here. He said, I have one complaint about Laputa. That's when Pazu and Sheeta land on the castle and celebrate. They roll on the grass while they are tied together with a rope. Aren't they supposed to kiss in a situation like that? They even hug and look at each other. Hearing that, Miyazaki responded, no, I think the movie did enough of that. The movie did enough of what? Said the interviewer. Miyazaki said, you know the kite scene? But suddenly paused and added, oops, I've been told not to say things like this, but In the first draft, where Sheeta holds onto Pazu from the back inside the kite, Sheeta wasn't holding Pazu tightly enough. Pazu should be feeling her breasts on his back. That's why he has this confident look on his face. So I told the animator who drew this, "Did you think that far?" And he said, no. So I ordered him, "Imagine that and draw again." Then he did his best. The interviewer was like, "I didn't know it was such an erotic movie." Well, let me continue reading the article. I didn't know it was such an erotic movie. Well, it's not that I'm hiding them intentionally. That kind of thing is necessary for movie making. It's not fashion like in Space Battleship Yamato, where the characters look at the camera when they hug. When I saw it, I was like, what? So you guys look away from each other? So it's a typical Miyazaki always dissing someone else's work when he explains his own work. So, for this scene, the interviewer asked, "Why don't Pazu and Sheeta kiss here?" Then Miyazaki said, "Because, instead of telling it, that kind of thing is already shown in the movie." That's probably what he meant by, the movie did enough. That's the scene where Pazu and Sheeta get on this kite for observation and go up higher in the sky. Suddenly, there is a blast and it blows the kite away. Sheeta gets scared and holds onto Pazu tightly. Then, Pazu turns around to look at her in order to relax her, but his facial expression isn't strong enough. So, Miyazaki scolded the animator, "You don't get it, do you? Imagine a girl you love gets scared, hugs you and presses her small breasts onto you. You feel them on your back. And is this how your face looks in a situation like that? No! Do it again!" And when Miyazaki saw the second draft, he said, "That's better." So that's where the boy's confident look comes from. Men can only act reliable when they physically feel the reliance of women. Miyazaki said, "That's what anime is supposed to depict." So, Miyazaki's anime is erotic, but that's different from the cheap eroticism that we usually think of. I should have said this before, but Miyazaki is a man who hates something being cheap more than anything. Where was it?